of my purview. Alrighty, let's get going. Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to Smudcast number 483. Ben Shapiro reviews The Batman. Oh my. I had no idea Ben Shapiro reviewed movies like this. I know he talked about The Last Jedi, and that was all a big deal because everyone was talking about it. But yeah, this was a long-awaited movie. I have yet to see it, but the fan response was good. Trailers were awesome. And I think it was pushed back because of COVID for at least a year or two, or a year and a half. So
yeah,
that was expected. And compared to other movies that were pushed back as a result of COVID, this one is actually worth watching. And let's not mention any of those others that came out during that time. So
pretty good movie. I recommend.
Yeah. So some of us have watched the movie. Some of us have not. I'm assuming because it has spoilers in the title, Ben is going to be talking about some things. So if you don't want to watch, or you have yet to watch The Batman and you don't want to be spoiled, I don't recommend watching this stream. Go out there, watch it as soon as you can, and come back to this days later whenever you're ready. So, Ben Shapiro, I don't know how good he is at reviewing movies. He's a smart guy. I don't really watch him.
He's reviewed comic book movies before.
Oh, yeah?
I know he reviewed Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and he was just calling it trash.
Really? Wow.
This will be more talking about the movie itself and the things that he misunderstood. And actually, it's basically his perspective. It's very subjective. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's no he does misunderstand the movie.
Yeah.
That's what I want to say.
Knowing Ben, he goes so quickly. He already has his mind made up, so he's just like firing all these ideas that he's already thought about. So I think it's going to be pretty straightforward.
I remember when he saw the trailer, he actually reacted to the trailer, and he was very excited for it. So
yeah, trailers were awesome. I loved all the trailers. As I said before we started the stream, it just didn't get me out of my chair. Like I couldn't wait to go see it. No, I was more like, hey, that's a cool looking film. I'll go watch that sometime soon, just not as soon as it's out. Maybe a month from now or a few weeks or whatever, just to say I saw it, what the hype is all about. Maybe go out with some friends now that I can go out. So,
it's a cool movie to watch.
Yeah, it's not going to make me feel bad for spending money or anything like that. But it's like, if I'm in the vicinity of a film theater or some
it's
sort of...
not like spending money to see Sharknado 10, The Revenge of the Dinosaurs, something like that.
That's a special reason to watch.
You didn't spend money on those though, right?
I don't remember how we got it. I think we watched it through LitDev's setup, so he must have got it somehow. I don't know.
Oh, he sacrificed his money.
I don't know. I got to ask him, but yeah, that was a hell of an experience. Anyway, 15 minutes for Ben Shapiro. Here we go.
Wait, is this a Ben Shapiro video, or I thought it was a video talking about Ben Shapiro?
No, it is a Ben Shapiro video.
Yeah,
it's the video from Ben Shapiro.
Right.
So he actually took his time to talk specifically about the film, not like tangentially within one of his rants or within one of his normal broadcasts. This is specific to the movie. So here we go.
All right.
Alrighty, folks. So last night I went and I saw The Batman. My review of that is coming up in just one moment. This video is sponsored by Ring.
Oh, no. Ring?
Oh, I thought he was going to advertise
So
the
last
steak
night I
knives.
went and saw The Batman. Went and saw it with my wife. It is 1 million hours long. And it's one of those movies where I started off...
Okay, so how long is the film? Is it like 3 hours?
3 hours. It's a pretty long movie.
The movie, it's well edited that you don't feel the 3 hours.
You see there, I do.
I honestly kind of felt it a little bit. Maybe I don't know what you would cut out to shorten it, maybe, but
yeah,
it was starting to.
I don't know. Trying to cut out something would probably make the movie.
It could have just been my taste.
Well,
sorry, what were you saying, Smud?
3 hours is way too long for a movie, I think, unless it's like part of a series. that could be broken up, and I would not want to sit in a theater for 3 hours. Like my ass is going to fall asleep. So yeah, I gotta like watch it from home or something.
When would you say something qualified for 3 hours?
Like one of those artsy fartsy films where it's slow, where it has to be 3 hours. Like David Lynch.
Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings. Yeah, because
hours.
it's a series. You're trying to condense this massive book series into a series of movies. So obviously they have to cut stuff out and get all the exposition that you need to get the film going.
I remember.
The Godfather was like 3 hours.
Yeah. That's another slow moving movie.
I remember doing a watch time with my brother, all the extended editions of the 3 movies. It's like what, 9 hours?
It's more like 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the index spectrum, 12 hours of Lord of the Rings.
Well, yeah, when you have like a Francis Ford Coppola or one of those directors that they take their time, it's like, okay, you're expecting quality to last that long anyway. So with a superhero flick, I don't know. If because you guys said it was like a detective story, I'm like, okay, that would take some time. Maybe not 3 hours, but it would take some time, plus the action, plus all the dialogue and all the flirting and all the other gadgets and like there's probably like a dozen actors there that have to have their time to shine, so that takes time. I understand that, but 3 hours for me is a bit too long. Anyway, I
just remember like I had to pee for like almost an hour, and I was just, oh man, I hope this movie ends soon. I really need to go.
Yeah, no, I'd rather rent it or buy it from home and just watch it from home. That's probably what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
All right.
And I was like, okay. And then I got a little further in. I was like, all right. And then I got to the end. I was like, meh. And then the more I thought about it, the angrier I became.
Oh no.
And so you're about to hear a lot of hot takes on the Batman because I hate this movie. Okay, first of all, I'm just going to tell you right up front, spoilers.
All right, 1 sec. I just looked at the video. This has about 715,000 views. It has 33,000 upvotes, 16,000 downvotes. So
it's a 4 million channel. It's bound to have those those numbers.
Yeah, people are like, Ben, stop doing movie reviews.
Oh yeah, people really get pissed off when Ben.
Yeah, honestly,
okay.
This is more of his opinion rather than someone trying to analyze the movie.
Yeah, I know.
Like it is bound to have to have people to have something that he doesn't understand.
Believe it or not, just because Ben Shapiro is a very smart guy doesn't mean he's good at reviewing media. It's just not his area of expertise. Obviously, everyone has an opinion on media and food and sensory experiences, but it's like, okay, dude, you know your stuff in politics.
Keep to yourself.
leave the media analysis to the experts.
He is the guy that says rap isn't music, and I know that pisses a lot of people off. Yeah, I've never really heard his specific arguments for those, so like I don't know what to say, and I don't know if it's relevant, but
when you're coming from a classical music background, even like myself, when you look at simple forms of music, you're like, oh, that's pretty basic. But obviously, everyone who performs well in any genre has to master the art. So I've heard him play.
Honestly, music in all movies are honestly really, really good. I didn't see one modern movie that didn't have a pretty good soundtrack.
Yeah, you're right. A lot of the music in media for the past 15 years really has been very good because there's so much competition to be a musician and to make money in anything related to music. So if you can make money in a studio that does sound editing or makes music, so it's like, hey, we do sound editing for trailers and we do music. There's loads of people. I know friends of mine who do music for fun, and they would love to make a living off it if they could, but they can't because it's so competitive, and that's why we get so good quality music in all of, not just movies, but in video games, in television series, anime shows. I got some killer tracks I love from anime shows over the years that are still around, I still listen to. So it's beautiful stuff that we have such a competition and we get good quality media as a result. So
Yeah,
Amen.
Batman's theme on the movie is really good.
yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, love that stuff.
It is, and it does play out throughout the movie. Like it starts to actually get into your head.
Oh yeah,
It's very memorable. Yeah,
All
at
right.
least
Yeah, it is actually very memorable. It's like the Imperial March for Darth Vader. It's actually
yeah.
the
Good point.
Apparently,
Exactly.
the soundtrack is very popular. I saw it pop up the day it was release on I think YouTube or
yeah, the soundtrack
Yeah.
is really good.
Yeah, it's not like Marvel where it's just you forget about it.
Actually, even the Marvel movies have some pretty good themes. The Avengers themes is actually the better one than the one that I actually remember.
Oh yeah, no, not obviously not all the movies, but I'm just saying like, do you remember, like Ant-Man theme? Do you remember that one? No.
No, I don't remember. Unfortunately, I don't remember the Ant-Man's movie at all. I remember watching both.
I remember watching it with Eric. It was bad.
What one? I remember laughing a lot on the second movie.
yes.
Because of how, like, intentionally or unintentionally?
No, intentionally. Intentionally.
Oh,
Like
okay.
I really like the jokes.
Oh, okay. Ooh. Yeah, they're not bad sometimes.
I actually saw the second Ant-Man movie in theaters in 3D. That's how.
That's elite
You
stuff.
saw it with a girl, didn't you?
Well, yeah, that's the reason. But I mean, there was nothing else playing. So all right, let's try this one. And I wasn't really paying attention because I was like, "What the hell is Michael Douglas doing in a movie?"
And
Actually,
Michelle
the
Pfeiffer.
plot for the movie it's really weird. It's a back and forth through all the things. The lab goes to one hand, and then go back to the another hand, and then go back to Hank's hand. And yeah,
Ghost is just misunderstood, even though she fully went through with what she was doing throughout her whole life.
I don't know why they made
good-
Goliath.
good-
Why they made
Yeah, good thing.
Goliath an antagonist? I didn't really understand that.
Because we got Morpheus from the Matrix. So
Yeah, that's Goliath. It's a character from the comics.
All right.
Basically, his power is to get giant.
Anyway,
back
let's
to
get
Batman.
back to Batman.
Spoilers aplenty here. So if you haven't seen the film yet and you want to see the film and you don't want to be spoiled, I'm warning you. You've been warned. All right. This is Detective Batman. So if the original Michael Keaton Batman was sort of crime-fighting Batman and the Christopher Nolan Batman was city-saving Batman, this Batman is supposed to be Detective Batman. And this has a long history in the Batman comics. Some of the best Batman comics, particularly my favorite, The Long Halloween.
Yeah, and the movie does a good job in making a detective Batman.
Cool. So Ben knows his Batman. Good for him. All right.
Do you want to
Not
hear?
really. Not really. He
you wanna-
does misunderstand the movie a little bit.
Do you want to hear an aspect about the movie, Smud? Or
An aspect, sure. Why not?
like, this was something interesting I thought, where Batman actually has a journal in this movie, and he actually has like, what was the things on his eyes? They record everything he sees throughout the night, and then he would take them off.
I think we can call lens something like that.
Eye lenses, yeah. Well, he would take them off, and he would try to analyze all of that footage to make himself remember everything he just saw, which was
I
what
think
it
that
plays
was
into whatever. Yeah, it was playing into how he was trying to uncover Riddler's plan and whatnot.
Well, I like the fact that we were talking about Calendar Man and Batman Year One, and that's what happens in The Long Halloween. So it's a pretty cool comic, and I'm glad that Ben is referencing it because it's he knows what he's talking about. That's good.
Oh, yeah.
Is rooted in the idea of Batman not just as Caped Crusader, but as a great detective, smarter than everybody else, capable of picking up on clues, investigating and tracking down crimes. I'm going to start with what's right with the film because it's going to be real short. So what's right with the film is that it looks great. It is a film noirish take on Gotham City.
Nice.
It almost feels kind of like retro taxi driver Gotham City. So everything's very dirty. It's all taking place at night. It's shot in kind of grayscale at times. It's got a lot of warm oranges and reds, but against a very dark black. So it's a lot of muttered dialogue. It feels as though it's taking place in the same city as Joker is taking place. So if you saw Joker, Todd Phillips' Joker, which looks like 1970s New York, it feels almost like the other half of that, but it seems more like the take on what future New York would look like if you were living in New York in 1970. That's sort of a good way of putting it. The music to the film is okay. I think that Michael Giacchino tends to be a little bit derivative in how he does the scores to the films. This one, he basically takes the music that Hans Zimmer and James Newton Howard wrote for Batman Begins in the Nolan trilogy, which the theme goes da-da, and here he just inverts it. So instead of da-da, it's da-da. Okay, fine. So it's a little bit derivative, but the score is totally fine. The acting is okay, as we'll find out in a second. They give Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, Robert, the acting was okay. It was not that great, but I think was better than the average. It's not really okay.
Like I said,
Robert,
before, I think he nails the Batman part. The problem I have is the Bruce Wayne part.
Colin Farrell as Penguin, on the other hand, that one was really good.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's
he puts on the accent. It's really it never breaks. It's pretty well acted.
You'd be surprised, man, because you don't see Colin Farrell in the Penguin. You're like, wait, that's Colin Farrell?
Really?
Yeah, he does a really good job as the Penguin.
Well, I do recall people saying they liked Ben Affleck as Batman as well as Bruce Wayne. He had a good combination of the lines and the acting and the bulk and the fighting, outside of killing people and being this weird, dark, scary murder.
Yeah, he just has shit material to work with, and it's a shame because, it's like, could you imagine if he was handled with better dialogue?
Yeah, better dialogue, better scenes, better fight scenes. The fight scenes with Batman in the Snyderverse was, well, violent, let's just put it. Amazing to watch, but you think, hey, wait a second, did he just kill 14 people with a grenade? Like, oh, no. So.
The only thing I liked the Ben Affleck Batman was the suit.
Okay.
The Frank Miller suit.
All right.
Yeah, and it's like Robert Pattinson. I think he nails the Batman voice. Like, it never feels exaggerated, like how Christian Bale sort of gotten sometimes, where it's
the voice model that Ben Affleck
uses. I think it's consistent from beginning to end. It's just when you get to the Bruce Wayne where I'm, I know this is kind of like an old joke, but it sort of feels like Twilight-esque, where I just don't feel like I get any emotions out of something that Bruce Wayne had to encounter.
Well, one thing I was curious about was, and you can't really see it from the trailer, is how athletic and how ripped the actor is to get into the roles. He seems pretty young. He seems pretty svelte. And I was like, that's not quite my understanding of Batman. Batman's usually this strong, dominating presence. And in this one, he seems just this guy. He's just, like, remember that scene in the trailer where they show his feet and he's walking across the floor in someone's house or something that got murdered? And you're like, oh, this is Batman Year One. He doesn't know how to walk yet. That's what I got from the trailer. So this would be cool to see a young Batman learning the ropes, not as strong as he could have been. Maybe he's fitting into his suit. He doesn't know how his suit works yet. He doesn't know how tight it should be. He doesn't know how his workout routine yet. He just came back from the Himalayas or something, so his diet's all messed up. Like, that's like I had in my mind what's going on.
It is basically that. He's not really a pro Batman.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, somewhat, right? Because again, this is like he's 2 years active, so like criminals have gotten the gist of like who the Batman is, somewhat.
Yeah.
Like they know to watch out for the shadows.
You said that he doesn't. In the trailers, he doesn't appear to have so much presence. In the movie, they clearly make him have a lot of presence. Like, people shut up just because he look at him. At them.
All right, cool.
Nothing to do as Batman. Nothing to do as Batman. I didn't think that Zoe Kravitz had any sort of chemistry with Robert Pattinson. So she's fine. She's kind of flirty. Me, I didn't see anything.
Actually, that's probably I don't know. I really don't like Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. I don't know what it is. Maybe because I just don't like the actress. And I know it's like I try to separate the actor from the character.
I watch a dub, so I don't know. I watch a dub, so
Oh, you watched? Oh,
basically,
okay.
so basically, the problem is the problem is
She does
yeah,
have a
I
line
don't
where
see-
she
I don't
says,
see.
"Oh, I can't take something about white privileged folks or something."
Oh God.
I actually did cringe on that because it's just, oh, come on, this doesn't make sense for Catwoman.
it's just one line, and honestly, it doesn't make the movie bad at all.
I know. I'm not saying that. It's just, I don't know. I just don't. I feel like she's a little girl. Then I do feel like she's Catwoman. You know what I mean?
I think she's just starting as well.
Like, I don't know, Smud, what do you think? Like, what makes a Catwoman?
A Catwoman, depending on the rendition, usually she's she's the femme fatale, so she's obviously seductive. She is not weak. She's actually very capable because she can do all these crazy martial arts, and to use a whip is a crazy weapon. Like, you have to really know what you're doing. It's a very double-edged sort of weapon. You can't just fling it around, and because it could come back you at the same speed and like rip your eye out or something. So there's that element of physicality. She's also playful. She's also a thief, so she has to have skills as a master escape artist or a master lockpick. So that's like a high level of criminality. Like, in terms of if you look at criminals, like in jail, like the whole jail system, the guys who are the master thieves, they're on the top rungs. They're the most experienced. They're the most respected. They have all the skills to be a criminal, and they're not really hurting people. They're not violent, but they have those amazing skills that no one else would learn. You have to like practice at being this sort of skilled criminal. So there's all these things about Catwoman that make sense, provided she's all of those things. So if one of those is
you'll
off,
probably like that.
yeah, if one of those is off,
Probably like that.
if she's just like this weird little girl that has all these skills, you're like, wait a second.
I think she's somewhat of those things.
Yeah,
Again, I'm not saying. I wouldn't say she's bad. It's just,
I know.
I don't know if I would say it's good.
Well, if you look at the Batman Year One example of her, she's like not really a prostitute, but she hangs out with them and she helps them out. She's like a dominatrix sort of character, and she comes across Batman for the first time, and this weird tension. It's nothing sexual. It's just sort of like, okay, this guy's the new kid on the town, and he's really mean, and she tries to protect her turf, and she can't do it. So it's there could be some growing pains there between the two. I'm okay with that.
Well, it's always funny because Batman is sort of like like he's very stoic. So anytime there's ever they try to do the relationship with him and Catwoman, it's always like, well, I mean, I don't know how's that supposed to look, because Batman's stoic and Catwoman's this flirty woman.
Yeah,
so
he has to see her as a professional relationship first. Like, they could use each other for their own ends. So Batwoman needs her for information, or for, I don't know, how she can go over there and get intel for him and can come back. And she can, I don't know, use Batman for protection or something. Like, there has to be a give and take, because why would Batman not immediately throw her under the bus and throw her in jail? Because she's a criminal, right?
Yeah.
So there has to be a good reason. It can't just be I'm attracted to her. No, there has to be like, okay, she could help me out in this crime. She's related to the crime. I don't know how. She's doing petty larceny. That's forgivable. I'm looking for murder. I'm looking for bigger problems. So there has to be a good reason why Batman is not throwing her ass in jail and not tying her up and like getting all the information he can out of her. So that is like, this is key. You can't screw this up. So if you do, it'd be like, what the hell, Batman? Just because she's in leather? Like, what's your problem? It's a criminal. Go.
Yeah, I think
there's a
it's-
new Batman movie.
Yeah.
hey, Wisp.
Hello. Yeah, Batman just forgiving her because she's a woman is dumb.
Yeah, exactly.
That he knows he can't trust her. That she is not a trustworthy character. Simple as. And to give her lines like the patriarchy thing, as you mentioned, that also doesn't make sense. That is what breaks her character. That is what would break every femme fatale in existence.
And we heard
Because
about
a femme fatale embraces her femininity and what power it gives her over men.
And we heard that line from, what was it, the second movie or the third movie in the Nolan trilogy, where she's referring to the rich, not referring, like the 1%. Like she said, that's fine. That's fair. She can talk about the rich like that, but she's not referring to the white patriarchal male, blah, 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 blah. She's just saying, yeah, the rich are doing bad things or whatever. Like, okay, fine.
I can't even remember how that line came across. I just know she said white privilege, and at that point I was just, oh boy.
Yeah.
I was looking at my watch. I'm like, is this movie almost over? Oh no.
Yeah, who directed this one or wrote this one?
Matt Reeves.
Matt Reeves directed
Matt Reeves.
it. Did he write it too, or
I
think it was someone else.
It.
I just can't remember the name.
Okay, that's all right. Let's keep going.
Yeah, that line
All
would
right.
be a breaker for me. That's just stupid political fashion racism. No thanks.
Pretty wrong with her performance. I just didn't see a lot right with her performance. You have John Turturro showing up as Carmine Falcone, and he is John Turturro, so he's okay. He's somewhat menacing. The best performance in the film is Colin Farrell playing the Penguin. You literally cannot spot Colin Farrell in this makeup. There is no way that you can see Colin Farrell here. The whole movie, I'm staring at him going, that's not Colin. It is Colin Farrell. It's the best performance in the movie. Paul Dano gives a good performance in the film, although he's sort of playing the Joker a little bit, although he's playing it more wide-eyed, as Paul Dano is apt to do. The main character of the film is the Riddler. And herein lies the main problem with the film. The biggest problem with the film is that the film hates Batman. Like, the actual Batman character hates the Batman.
Well, is that a problem? I mean, that's almost like every Batman story, right?
Yeah, no, everyone fears and hates the Batman. Cops hate him, criminals hate him.
Yeah.
I was just rewatching Batman Begins, and it's like, yeah, all the cops hate him. I mean, Gordon's the only one that trusts him, but
yeah, and that's always been the story. That's been the story in the 50s show.
Yeah, when you're talking about Gotham being corrupt, it's like, well, no wonder they hate the Batman.
Yeah, and he's the only guy who's doing, obviously you don't like vigilantes in general, right? But he's a vigilante going after the bad guys. So It's like, well, he's a hero, I guess.
I mean, it's Batman's always supposed to be a controversial figure, somewhat, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Like, is he doing more harm than good?
That was the whole message of the Nolan trilogy. Like, he can take it. He's what?
It is the same thing in this movie, but in the early, when he is narrating in the early parts, that he's saying that 2 years have passed, and he did have a impact what is in the city, but not in the way he wanted.
Yeah.
Crime just ramp up instead of going down.
Well, and the cops are also more tolerant of his appearance. You know, I mean, even though they're like, why is he here? They're still allowing him to investigate the crimes. No one.
But that because of Gordon. Gordon is the one protecting him.
Oh, was it? Okay, maybe I missed that.
All right.
The Batman character. And this drives me up an absolute wall. The biggest problem with the film is not the wokeness. Yes, there's some woke touches. You have Catwoman, who is a woman of color, who is, of course, good. And you have the black female mayor, who is good. And you have the black Jim Gordon, who is good. Every white character is apparently bad, like all of them. Fine, whatever. I don't really care about that. That's fine. You have Catwoman say stuff about white privileged elites, and she makes a suggestion that Bruce Wayne as a child, when his parents were killed, he doesn't really have a right to be super.
All right, this is extra funny then if they race swapped her for real. That they had to make an originally white character non-white to then have her complain about white privilege. That is asinine. That is absolutely asinine.
Honestly, people should be surprised. It's basically the status quo.
I'm just surprised they didn't give Jim Gordon.
If it's the status quo. This movie will not get money from me. Same with all the race washing there with the other characters. Fuck that. I want authentic stuff.
Yeah, I think that's fair too. Yeah, it's just like I can't imagine what they would do for the second movie. Like if they want
to make a new Spawn movie. Make a new Spawn movie. Yeah, you have your black superhero.
Make a new Steel movie. How about
that? Also fine. There's enough to choose from. They do not need to do this race washing. It's not necessary. Like they have enough material they can work with. They could make new material, new superheroes, new characters. They're always shit, so they always resort to race washing the stuff that's already there.
I just like how Ben's like, yeah, I don't care. This is such a silly topic.
I'll mention it, but I don't care. Yeah, I know what he's getting at, but it's
no. I understand, but I'm the same side. I'm really apathetic toward it. So like, yeah. I'm not surprised.
Well, and I do like
I'm not
Jeffrey.
Surprised I am not either.
But it is like it's weird that it's a black Gordon because then it's like, okay, are they gonna do Batgirl? Is she gonna be black too? What is this?
Robin was born in the streets.
She actually really important for the plot, and there is a good plot twist on the movie.
All right.
Super upset about that because, of course, he was very, very rich. That doesn't kind of rings hollow. Now, a lot of these lines seem like throwaways for film.
See, I don't mind that. I think that's a good argument to have her as a character who's not aware of the reality of what Bruce Wayne is doing as the Waynes, and she just attacks the rich and the white. I think that's good. It shows a flaw in her character, and that the audience knows.
Yeah, but she never corrects that flaw. That I don't know where it comes. I don't know where it stems. I don't know where it stems from though.
Because she doesn't know who Batman is, so she will never correct it.
Well, no, I mean because the Wayne, unless Bruce Wayne in this story doesn't have charities and halfway houses and Wayne Tech and all these other.
I really don't.
Yeah, but Riddler's targeting the elites, right? Like, why wouldn't Catwoman agree with Riddler?
Yeah. She only likes stealing.
Does.
I mean, does that make sense? I don't know. Like,
she's only on Batman's side because she likes Batman. Yeah. Not that she doesn't disagree with Riddler.
I mean,
she actually does.
She's got that jawline, right? So dreamy.
Look, I don't want to spoil, but all right, I'm gonna spoil. The Waynes are really important because they have made the charities thing, but there is a scheme involving it, and the mafia is stealing money from the scheme. Sorry for the spoilers, but it's inevitable.
All right, let's hear Ben talk about that.
Twitter, but the main theme is not a throwaway. The main theme is what matters here. The film despises Batman. So every Batman iteration has to explain why a man who is a billionaire would dress up like a bat and go around beating up criminals. It's not answered. And the director doesn't know. And the writer doesn't know. And this is the problem. So in the Nolan films, to take the contrast.
So they didn't do an origin story of why he dresses up as a bat as a result of his death of his parents? They never
because...
No, Smud, you don't get to see his parents get shot for the 40th time again.
Yeah, people already know why he does.
Yeah, but you still have to explain it. You have to have something.
I get that, but yeah, I'm trying to think if they did explain it or not. No, they don't. Do they, Matthias?
I'm gonna dress up as a bat.
There's no reason why to explain why he's using the bat suit. Everybody knows that in the first years he was doing because he was the vengeance. He wanted to avenge his parents' death.
So he could have been the red rooster, or he could have been the yellow chicken, or anything really. He could have been anything. So the Batman.
Yeah, the thing is that. You have to rely on previous knowledge to know why he's the Batman.
Honestly,
in this movie.
Eric, what person doesn't know Batman? Unless it is a tribesman in India.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
it's
People
it's the
know
same thing.
Batman.
It's the same thing with the MCU Spider-Man. Like, I don't know why this guy is Spider-Man. You know what I mean?
well, okay. Regardless of the audience's knowledge and the lore of a long-standing franchise, if this is a new iteration, it's a new iteration. You still have to go back to basics. You have to tell why the things are happening.
It's not even that it isn't there. It is there. It's just not showing. It's just people. Alfred and Batman say the talk about the Bruce's parents' death and everything.
Well, they're talking about it, but they're not explaining it.
Yeah, they're not saying,
They
Master Bruce, I know you like going out and dealing with all the pain in your heart from the death of your parents and the fear you had of falling down that bat cave and using that symbol to bring fear to others. I understand, Master Bruce. You need something like that. At least you could have done a collage of 10 seconds of flashbacks of Bruce and parents dying and the pearls and all that nonsense. You could have done that. But you still have to do it. I don't care how redundant it is. I don't care how everyone else.
it is there.
If it's there, it's there.
It's
Great.
there. It's just
Okay.
you just not show it. It just not show it. They just tell.
All right.
But which scene though? Like, I'm trying to remember. Like,
They do talk about the parents, Alfred and Bruce and Falcone and the other characters too. The other characters related to Batman. Okay.
but they're talking about the Waynes. That they're not explaining. This is why I became the Batman. To fight injustice. How he obtained his crime fighting skills or his detective analyst skills to become the Batman.
Oh, they don't even do that. He's just a young man who happens to have skills.
Yes, he's no. Remember, this is 2 years after he became Batman. He's not
you have to remember
he's
that.
not pro Batman, but he's not pro Batman. But he's still a newbie in a way.
But there should be some exposition in the story of Batman actually, he had a 10-year hiatus when he was young and he came back when he was 25 or something along those lines to showcase, this is a guy who's rich and he did all these wild things 10 years ago and when he was reality.
Which is funny because Batman has a journal. You'd think maybe that would be where you would explain all that. I spent many years in the mountain learning from the League of Assassins.
Something like that. Yeah, you got to do the basics. You can't just
look.
assume.
I will say again. I think Eric is wrong. I will say that.
All right. Fine.
The parents, they do explain the parents' death. Okay, it's there. It's just not shown.
All right. Here's
and again, I watched the movie only once, so maybe I'm wrong. So,
okay, that's fair. Here's Brussels sprouts. Thank you, Brussels sprouts. Ben is just wrong. It's shown that Batman is Batman because A, GCPD are massively corrupt. B, he's lashing out in anger against Gotham's criminals. And C, he's trying to help the city like his father did. This is all laid out in the movie. Okay. That's fair. But why a bat? Why do you dress up as a bat? That's what I want to know. With Selina, we can say, put her in a room full of cats. That's all I need. Yeah, it's really simple.
But yeah, they did. They did.
Yeah, exactly.
He even say, "Well, you have a lot of cats."
Exactly.
You like cats.
Yeah, see, that's all you need. You could connect the dots like that. It's very easy. With Batman,
which is funny. Yeah, because he has a journal again.
It's
I
kids
chose
in
a bat
chat.
for my symbol because I'm afraid of bats.
It's kids in the chat said Alfred taught Bruce to fight because makes sense. Alfred was an MI6 agent, so he knows how to fight.
Okay, that's something. At least it's very similar to the Gotham series where young Bruce wants to learn to fight and Alfred teaches him a bit about boxing. But then he does actually go away and train.
So, but my thing is that is Batman the ninja like he usually is?
Oh, you can say that. He does have some fights in the movie.
But what that training that Alfred has, was he able to teach him that? Like, you hide in the
I
shadows,
think-
Bruce.
Well, yes, because he's an MI6 agent, so it's a spy. It was a spy.
Okay.
All right, let's keep going.
The question as to why Batman does this is because if Batman does not actually intimidate the criminal underworld because the city is so corrupt, no one else will do it, and money isn't going to solve the problem. And so he needs to create a theatrical kind of fear in order to dissuade the criminal underworld from participating. And then, as it turns out, he also has to save the city itself and demonstrate his faith in the city by becoming a symbol. Here, you don't really know why Batman is doing what he's doing. It's never explained. He's very wealthy. He doesn't apparently do anything with his wealth. He doesn't try to give charity. He doesn't. I mean, this is actually made a plot point. He's a bad man because he's white. He's a bad white man who doesn't actually give charity. He's not involved, and he's not playing that as a role. Again, this is part of the problem: is that Bruce Wayne and Batman are the same character. So if I keep using the Nolan comparison because it is the gold standard for all superhero.
Remember, Batman is not Bruce. Bruce didn't make the mask yet, the Bruce Wayne mask, because he's still on his early stages of Batman. When in the next movie, maybe they will flesh out the idea of Bruce Wayne being the mask.
But Mateus, 2 years. I mean, I don't. I don't know.
2 years is not enough. 2 years is really not enough to be something really good.
Yeah, but because he has to train to be the Batman, so.
And he did.
Like how much time did it take for him to actually get to that point, and then he's active for those 2 years? That he didn't think, oh, maybe I should make a mask for my have a dual identity, because I can't risk the people around. I mean, I know he's like, he doesn't care, like he doesn't really think about it. Alfred, you're not my dad.
All right, so Ben obviously does not like this rendition of, or the lack thereof, of why Batman is Batman.
Movies, not just Batman movies. So when you look at Nolan's Batman, Bruce Wayne is the character that Batman is playing. Okay, Bruce Wayne is not real. Batman is real. Batman is who Bruce Wayne really is. And so he has to play a fop. In Batman Begins, he's squiring around ladies in his Lamborghini, and he's buying hotels, and he's doing all of this just to cover up for the fact that he is Batman. So you get very separate Batman and Bruce Wayne. You get the same thing actually with Michael Keaton. Batman and Bruce Wayne are two different characters. Here, Batman and Bruce Wayne are the exact same character. There are points where Bruce Wayne is walking around. He's got the same dour expression, same glazed look, same kind of emo thing going on as Batman does the entire movie. And so there's no dichotomy. Alrighty, folks. Well, I may not have loved.
Okay, that doesn't sound good because you want to have the facade. That's the point.
Yeah, that's what I mean by like, I like his Batman, but his Bruce Wayne that's where it becomes a problem.
It's like, hey guys, we're going to tell the story of Bruce Wayne. No, it's just Batman. Like, what? No.
Well, it is titled The Batman. It's not titled The Bruce Wayne. Come on. Use your head.
The Bruce Wayne would be a good counter movie to the Joker.
The Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
He's just banging strippers and supermodels and driving his Lamborghini everywhere and buying hotels.
Yeah, you just do the entire Bruce Wayne story.
I'm rich.
And at the end, you get one scene of Batman, and then we finally have this bloody origin story bullshit out of the way.
Oh.
You just do it good, you do it once, and we're done with it.
That's life. Yeah, with Frank Sinatra, that'd be great.
Oh boy.
Matt Reeves actually said Batman, it's not really there. There isn't an actual interview of him saying that.
Okay, so it
Of
sounds
him
like
saying what?
Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, it sounds
Matt
like
Of him saying what?
Said that Bruce Wayne is not really there. There is an interview. I will find it.
yeah. So obviously, whoever wrote the script, you're missing a key element of the logic of the city. Like, who's this brooding dude surrounded by bat caves in his mansion? Who's this guy swinging from ropes with all this technology and looks like a bat? I can't see the connection, guys. What's going on?
Also, but also, I will defend the movie in that way. he did a good job in making a detective movie. You
Okay.
really see a very good
All
noir
right.
movie.
Okay. Well,
I know, but it's like you had to sacrifice the Bruce Wayne elements to do that, and it's kind of a shame because
they didn't have to. No, they did not have to sacrifice anything when it comes to a story that everyone knows. And you screw
Unless you are a tribesman in India, maybe you don't know
but
Batman.
at this point, my nephew probably knows who the Batman is.
Imagine you are a tribesman in India and you see look, it's the Batman.
What do you guys want? All right, it would have been 4 hours if we had to put on all the Bruce Wayne.
No, just replace
4 hours,
all the scenes where Pattinson is acting weird as Bruce Wayne, and just make him be Bruce Wayne. That's all you have to do.
Would you say that the Dark Knight is the gold standard?
No.
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't know about that, especially with
I don't
Rises.
know.
I mean,
I don't know. I don't think Dark Knight is the golden standard for Batman. Maybe the golden standard for Joker, because Heath Ledger Joker is pretty good. I think nobody could ever surpass him.
Well, that's the second film in the trilogy, because when you think of the trilogy, the third movie just brings everything down. So you can't call it a gold standard when you have bad storytelling. It's kind of like the Matrix trilogy. It's like, I don't even consider it a trilogy. It's just, they're just horrible movies.
Mm-hmm.
And they lampshade how good the first film is, because the first film was totally fine. There's a few technical things here and there. You can talk about the technology and not metaphysics, but the actual chemistry of heat, and it doesn't make any bloody sense, thermodynamics, but fine. It's tech, it's sci-fi, it's all in your head. That's fine. I don't have to.
Where do the thermodynamics not make sense?
Humans are living batteries. It doesn't make any sense.
Oh, that I hear that was changed to make it more understand. Was a studio decision apparently that overwrote the original writing to make it more understandable for the retarded audience, because studios always think that the audience is retarded. The original idea was supposed to be that the humans that their brains are used to as data storage for the Matrix. So it's self-contained.
That would be cool.
And that makes more sense.
That
is
actually
just
would
as easy to understand. The whole battery stuff just is too dumb.
Everyone's a memory storage for how amazing the Matrix is. As people leave the Matrix, it gets dumber.
Yeah, they would take data out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it would be
that
decentralized.
actually would.
Yeah, basic thermodynamics.
Make more sense.
It's really simple, guys. We generate lots of heat by the food we consume.
About 100 watts.
Yeah, but if we don't consume the food, you could just use the food as fuel, or just use anything as fuel, because you're not going through the extra step. Every time you go through an extra step of converting energy, you lose energy. Yeah. You lose material. So
yeah, the bioelectricity we produce is not that much.
No.
It's not noteworthy.
Exactly.
It's a really, really bad thing to try to use humans as batteries. If you want to compensate with what you put into the system and like conserve a little bit of energy, okay, but it's dumb.
Not only that, but the amniotic sac that people are in is gigantic. It's like a giant bathtub. Like that's not even... Doesn't even make.
It's unlikely we can keep that heated by our own body temperature.
It would have to be like a bodysuit. It wouldn't be a birthing canal or whatever the hell that.
Yeah, the thing is, you have to see it from the perspective that the machines do not want to eradicate humanity. They do not have contempt to the point of wanting annihilation. They just want to control humanity because humanity is dumb and want to eradicate the machines. Yeah. So the machines have the higher ethics in that sense. So
Batman.
Anyway, back to Batman. Okay. Here is Porcelinos the Fourth. Thanks for the tip. I thought it was interesting that they really went hard on the reclusive billionaire, but at the same time, it's tough to differentiate. Well, the whole film is pretty dark, so I really hope they develop that persona for Bruce in the next movie. I know Pattinson wanted a Robin in the next movie. Someone to
stupid socialist lines.
I honestly want the occult to be explored. The thing that Gotham is a cursed land and there will always be crime. There's no way to resolve Gotham.
Which they have to explain. They can't just
Yeah, they don't know that yet.
yeah.
The characters don't know that yet.
All right.
Yeah, I
The
really
Batman,
wanted them to explore.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. Real Batman knows how to protect himself and protect his family, and you should too, because you
Oh.
need Ring Alarm.
Oh, is this his
Oh.
ad?
Ring makes an alarm.
God.
Ring Alarm is an award-winning
Ben,
What? I thought you were
Ring.
selling us guns.
holy hell, Ben, what are you doing?
Well, Batman does protect himself in the movie.
Do you not know about this? He always has these advertisements for
I
like
don't-
VPN
I don't,
and then steak knives.
I don't watch Ben Shapiro. I don't know what he does. I just see his clips that people post. That's it.
Oh yeah, like in the middle of like his political video, he'll start doing advertisements.
And tie it
I guess
into his video. Speaking of the
Yeah,
House,
yeah.
Nancy Pelosi, man, is she going to get for fraud for buying and selling stocks? By the way, do you guys like Robinhood investing? Well, here's Robinhood the app. What the fuck?
It's funny that he has Ring now because like before it was always NordVPN or steak knives. That was it.
Steak
Yeah,
knives.
Ben loves eating steak because he works out so much and he's all that protein.
He really liked steak and cheese.
Oh, really?
Steak and cheese.
Okay.
I will never understand why you would want to have all your security stuff on your smartphone.
That sounds like a really bad and horrifying idea.
Uh-huh.
It's for when people ring on your
it's-
doorbell.
it's just
you don't know if it's a
convenient.
burglar or if it's a pizza man.
Yeah, it's so convenient that it's easily hackable.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's just
I
all
didn't
be
say
like,
it's
that's-
good.
Look,
Let's
it
just
ties
copy-
into his other advertisement, which is NordVPN. Protect
Oh.
your device from hackers.
I didn't say it was
Yeah,
good
that's
to
not gonna
have
help,
the. I didn't say it was a good idea to have the security stuff in the phone. I just said it is convenient.
Convenience
it.
destroys security. If you want security, it will inconvenience you.
Buy a gun.
If your security is convenient, it is not secure.
Anyway,
It's a very simple thing. These are mutually exclusive things. I'm
he's
sorry.
selling
It's
us.
like it's like security and freedom.
I'm just going to fast forward here.
Anyway, I just want to say Batman does protect himself. Okay, he may got some shots, but he does fight really well.
All right, here we go.
There's award-winning professional monitoring for less money than most professional mind with Ring. You know, my go to ring.com Shapiro. The actual plot of the film.
Slash Ben
Batman
Shapiro.
has only been Batman for a couple of years, so he's not really good at Batmaning yet. And he is tracking
Yeah,
down
that's the
criminals,
point.
and he gets drawn into a plot by the Riddler. The Riddler is giving clues so that Batman can track down all the way through the system of Gotham this citywide corruption that apparently is going to bring down the entire superstructure of faith in the city. Meanwhile, you have Catwoman, who's Selena Kyle, played by Zoe Kravitz. And Zoe Kravitz is similarly engaged in an attempt to commit a robbery against one of these underworld figures, but she's drawn into Batman's orbit by a murder that both of them are investigating at the same time, the murder of her roommate, maybe something more going on there. The Riddler is the main villain of the movie. You see the Penguin a fair bit. Carmine Falcone is one of the big characters in the movie. You get a little bit of Alfred. Of course, you get Jim Gordon, whose main job in this film is apparently just to say Jesus over and over again.
Christ, it's Coulson.
Whenever something bad
Nah.
happens, he just goes, Jesus.
No, he does have a role of making sure Batman is in the investigation. Many cops try to say, why you keep protecting him? He's not even one of us. And then it always is this guy that really wants Batman to help the city. He's the really one good cop, which
But
makes
does he-
sense
does- but
with
does
the
he
Batman,
say-
with the character.
Does he say Christ a lot?
I
Didn't-
don't remember,
I
honestly.
didn't count.
I don't count. Like, I don't know why Ben counts. Jesus, you know.
This is Judeo-Christianism is like, oh,
It's Greco-Judeo-Christian.
yeah, Greco. Anyway,
Jesus. And that happens like 6 times. Like Jim Gordon does nothing except for basically stop Batman from getting arrested a lot. That's pretty much all he does. He's a bad detective. He doesn't do anything.
No, he's not a
The
bad
plot is
detective.
that all these people get killed. Batman
No, he's a
uncovers it.
bad
He realizes
detective.
that his dad was corrupt also, or that his dad engaged in corruption with Carmine Falcone. Finally, we get to the end. Paul Dano does it's such a ripoff of Seven.
Wait. Hold on. background. He what did he say about Thomas Wayne?
No,
He
no,
engages.
I don't know. He's so bad. Go a little back because I didn't pay
All these people
attention
get
to it.
killed. Batman uncovers it. He realizes that his dad was corrupt also, or that his dad engaged in corruption with Carmine Falcone. Finally, we get to the end. Paul Dano does the...
What was the whole thing about Thomas Wayne? I'm trying to remember.
He was going to be the candidate for the Gotham, and he created this charity program of the I don't know the name. I don't remember the name. Sorry for that, guys. But he makes a state welfare program to help the needy in Gotham. But when when a reporter find out that Martha Wayne was mad because she's an Arkham, Thomas Wayne tried to cover it up, like protecting his wife and his son. And
right,
he asked
right, and then he asked Falcone or one of his men.
to ask for, hey, scare this guy out, and Falcone simply kill the reporter, and Thomas Wayne freaked out and said, oh, okay, that's what, according to Alfred, Thomas Wayne freaked out and he was going to put himself to the police. He was going to tell everything, and then sometimes later he died. That it is implied that.
Yeah, then that resulted in the Wayne's death, and that's why Bruce Wayne became Batman.
And Falcone and the other corrupt officials in Gotham start siphoning money from the charity. The charity collects the money, and they simply take the money from the welfare, and many people didn't get it.
All right, here's Porcelainus the Fourth. I don't know why I'm reading this, but you guys are being harsh. This security service Ben is selling is great. It helped me protect my 800 terabytes of smelting plant accident videos and the totally real tax documents I use to fairly pay the government my taxes.
Congratulations.
Congrats, guy. I really hope they keep going.
I'm glad your security system is working. That's beautiful.
I'm hoping Joe Biden spends every penny.
Oh, yeah.
It's such a ripoff of Seven. He gives himself up. He doesn't get captured by Batman. Batman does not prevent a single one of these deaths. Batman, in fact, is complicit in one of the deaths by accident. And he doesn't actually capture the Riddler because he's clever. The Riddler gives himself up by sitting at a diner and getting arrested. Then he unleashes a bombing of Gotham that essentially...
That's the thing, the Riddler. It is something in the comics too. The Riddler always liked to be found. He never really wanted to escape. That's why he always does the riddles. Because he wants Batman to be found.
I'm confused by his criticism. Like, he hates that Batman didn't capture or prevent death.
No, he does find Batman does. Batman didn't find the Riddler in his house. He found his house, but he didn't find the Riddler there. And some eyewitness say, "Hey, this guy got out of this. It's really weird. He's in the cafe."
Right, I remember.
Thank you, Bearserker 100. Yeah, the name of the charity project is the Renewal Project. So
the Renewal
it's like,
Project. Okay. Well, I was just going to say,
I'm just confused about who designed those train tracks. They make no sense.
Joe
of
Biden.
Course, because it is.
Is it a product of Gotham's corruption?
Yes, always.
Yeah.
Everything.
Always.
Well,
remembers me of São Paulo because it is the same thing.
They made the train tracks to connect everybody.
No. It's that on the dead tracks there, they're not big enough to park anything on those. Like, what is that? What is that for? How does that work? But yeah, I'm sorry for interrupting. It's just my autism just went on red alert.
No, it's a good question.
Total sense because Gotham's corruption would pretty much say, "Oh, we're gonna waste money on this trying something and keep siphoning money from the project to pay Falcone and all the corrupt officials in the Gotham system. So yeah, it's bad that way because the statesman doesn't really care.
All right.
Well, I was just gonna ask. Sorry, because he's going on about Batman doesn't capture any of these criminals, or he could have prevented these deaths. I'm like, well, he's trying to find the clues so that he can prevent them. He's trying to put together what is Riddler's plan. There's
Also,
a hostage scene, and
he's
he's trying to
one
answer
guy.
the riddle. Yeah, he put a bomb around his neck, so he's got to answer these riddles. And the guy refuses, so like, what is Batman supposed to do? I do feel like he could have done something, but I don't know what exactly.
No,
Like,
because remember, because we already spoiled the movie for you guys. Sorry.
yeah. I know, it's a
Falcone
shame.
is the main guy, and the one of the prosecutor is the guy with the bomb on his neck, and he refuses because Falcone is the rat, the guy who is the informer for the police.
Right. So he couldn't answer it, right?
Yeah, because if he answered, all the system would be vanished because people would lost the faith in the city.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, how is Batman supposed to prevent that death?
Yeah, I don't think could prevent the death.
Like,
of
he
the prosecutor.
was helping answer the riddles. So
And he even say, "Who is the name? Who is the rat?"
Yeah.
And when the guy refuses, "No, I can't."
yeah, and then he blows up. Almost Batman almost dies from it too.
All right.
That essentially causes the flooding of the city. And Batman goes to the Madison Square Garden, where a mayoral event is now being held for the brand new mayor, who is an uplifting black female who has no other story or backstory, so she's really uninteresting. It starts to flood. And up on top, in the wings, are a bunch of Paul Dano's followers, are a bunch of the Riddler's followers who are all dressed like the Riddler, and they are shooting down into the crowd to try and kill members of the elite in Gotham City. And so Batman goes up there and he's beating people up. There comes a point where he's beating this guy, and he's really, like, maybe beating him almost to death. And he stops, and they take off that guy's mask, and they say, "Who are you?" And the guy says, "I am vengeance." Okay, now this is the theme throughout the film. Ooh, the theme. Okay, so in order to explain why this is a problem, you have to now understand the character of the Riddler. So it says right at the beginning of the movie, "Who is Batman? I'm vengeance," right? He's just on the streets and he's beating people up.
I'm vengeance.
And then people keep calling him Mr. Vengeance for no apparent reason.
Well, remember he's already Batman for a long time, and the criminals know who he is. So yeah, it's a bit abstract. Some characters saying he's Mr. Vengeance, but
I don't even
you get it.
I don't remember how many times vengeance was said though. I only heard Penguin say, "How do you like that, Mr. Vengeance?"
Catwoman, Penguin, and the Riddler says, "Hey,
The more
vengeance."
I think about this movie, the dumber it sounds.
Well,
Like it's more mock. The more you talk about this, the more I learn about this movie, and I only hear details about this in this stream here. It more sounds like a mockery of Batman than actual Batman.
But it is not. Okay, I can say it is pretty good.
Okay, here's the Giga Chad.
You can trust me.
That guy with the bomb on his neck died because he was too stupid to tell who the rat in Maroni's gang was. That wasn't Batman's fault. It was kind of silly that Batman survived a bomb that close. Okay.
Because Batman has bulletproof armor, it kind of gets ridiculous a little bit.
His jawline would be destroyed, but
his entire lower face, yeah.
Well, at one point he jumps off from the building. He hits his head on like one of the train tracks or something.
Whoa.
And I'm just like, how did he survive that? Like,
oh yeah. He doesn't know. He doesn't have the real bat wing. He have a wingsuit.
A wingsuit.
The wingsuit to play in Gotham.
Honestly,
he's not really good at it.
I thought it was.
He's not really
I
good.
thought it that looked kind of silly. I don't know.
I said that to my brothers too, that I really wanted he to using the bat wing to do the plane instead of the wingsuit, but it's just a minor detail.
All right.
What I want to ask, what do you think of just now Riddler has followers and they're trying to assassinate the people and the whole theme about vengeance.
Yeah, well, the theme of vengeance is fine, provided it's rooted in something that we could all relate to. And that's why when we hear the animated series Batman, we know why he's so angry. We know why he wants vengeance. There's a huge setup for the death of his parents and why Bruce Wayne became Batman. That's what we connect with. With Riddler, I can only guess it's from the from the trailers that he doesn't like people who lie, and there's so much corruption with the police and the politics that he just wants to eliminate them, and everyone else feels that as well. So that seems to be an ongoing thing in the story that is clear enough that people don't like corruption. Fair enough. Okay.
Okay, Berserker in the chat said the prosecutor refused to talk about who was the rat because he feared for the safety of his family. That's actually correct. And GigaChat brought another interesting point that people were mocking Batman by saying Mr. Vengeance. They know he doesn't call himself.
Oh, okay.
But he does call himself Vengeance, so that you can say
so
that.
he brought
Okay,
it upon himself. It's still stupid.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. The problem with a lot of these Batman stories, not just the comics, but even the 1989 version, is there's all these crazy lunatics that follow these sadistic rogues gallery villains. I do like the Bob character in 1989 Batman. That guy was just like always doing whatever the Joker wanted. So you got to understand. You have to figure out why are these random dudes dressing up and throwing their lives away for crazy, corrupt psychopath.
Sometimes you need to ask why there is a guy with a freezing ray.
Well, Mr. Freeze,
or a giant croc.
Yeah, the animated version of Mr. Freeze makes total sense because they explained it. But some of these gangs, like the Riddler, they just like, yeah, we like the Riddler. He has really cool riddles, and then he tricks people, and then we're gonna go kill some people because he wants us to. It's like, what? No, that doesn't make any sense.
They explain why the Riddler have a following. It's like he is an underground influencer because he is exposing all these corrupt guys, and people who actually agree with him start to getting radicalized to the point of following him and creating the Riddler gang.
See, that's called setup. That's called world building. It explains why these people exist in the story, and you need that. It's the same with the main character. It's the same with the main villain. You need all that basic setup. So if you don't have
I know why people would follow the Joker, because he's scary as hell.
Yeah, Joker's crazy. Like, I wouldn't want to go near the guy. He's going to probably poke my eye out with...
No. Imagine you are a criminal and Joker, who is one of the most scarier villains. Hey, do you want to join me? If you don't join me, I will
doesn't Joker recruit crazy people anyway? So, I mean...
No, he does. He recruits normal criminals too.
Yeah. So long as there's a monetary reason, then, like even with the fight scene in Batman v Superman with Batman fighting all those guys, it's assumed that Lex was paying these guys off. So they're there for financial reasons. Perfectly fine. The way he brutalized them is not fine, but it makes sufficient sense that they're paid to stop whoever is trying to steal Martha away. So great. Fair enough.
Well, at least he didn't kill them, right?
I think he killed most of them, actually.
Most of those guys are dead.
No, the Batmobile killed him. Batman did.
Yeah, no, he just threw a giant box at one and saw his brains splatter across his
Well, that's the box's fault.
Yeah, the guy smothered himself in a grenade and blew up the whole room. Okay.
I remember liking...
To be fair, that was that idiot's fault. Why would you go after...
I remember liking Batman v Superman when I first watched it. The more I thought about it, the more I was like, this movie is actually not really that good.
Yeah, well.
Let me just attack all the criminals out in the open to save Martha, which they could pull the trigger easily.
Well,
It's such a shame because Henry Cavill as Superman is really cool. I really want him to have his Superman movie. It's like when it's like with the Wolverine actor. You like him as Wolverine, but he was in so many bad movies with Wolverine that when Logan came out, you was like, finally a good Wolverine movie.
I like the
I
Wolverine.
expect the same.
Wolverine was
I
pretty good
expect
too.
I expect the same for Henry Cavill. I really want they
I
to
hope.
do a solo movie of him doing Great Star Superman from Grant Morrison. That he does the jobs and he's like going to die because he flew too close of the sun. That would be a good story for Henry Cavill.
Yeah. Okay, here's a super chat. Now I'm really confused. Thank you, Bishop Cruz. Good movie, but a bad mystery. Batman is an idiot in this film for sure. He never even checks from where the photos of the mayor were taken. Spoiler, Riddler's apartment. Should have been solved in minutes. See, this is the opposite what I've been getting from people online in general. The mystery is good, but the movie's not that great. I'm like, uh-oh.
Here is the movie with the mysteries.
Maybe it happened off screen. Okay.
See, the reason why this is bad is I'm a big stickler for mysteries. I love mystery stories. So if you're saying this is a mystery story, it's like, okay, I'm gonna go check it out. And
see, that's the thing. I don't see it as a mystery. So I don't know if it is a good mystery.
Oh. Okay. Well, I like.
What were you gonna say about?
Well, I like the idea of a detective story or a detective Batman because I think that's not only popular, but that's the appeal for people who like reading Batman. It's not so much the crime fighting and saving people, like the JLA crap. The actual stories that are good are the noir stories are detective stories. That's what noir is. So I expect that. I expect a good, tight story that is focused on mystery. Even if the mystery is simple, I don't care. As long as it's simple and clear and makes sense that this is what happens, I'm okay with that. So I don't know. Now I'm mixed. I'm like, oh no, I don't want to see this.
Yeah.
Give it a watch. Give it a watch and do a.
Or just wait till
I might, if it's that bad, I might do a video. Yeah.
No, I don't think it is worth it to make super video.
Okay.
Just make sure you have cheese.
Cheese and steak, yeah.
You don't know why they're calling him that? Because he never actually publicly says he's vengeance. It's in his creepy diary, which again is supposed to be a mirror image of the fact that the Riddler also keeps a Zodiac Killer style diary. So they're supposed to be two halves of the same whole. Batman is beating up this follower of the Riddler's. He takes off his mask and the guy says, "I'm vengeance."
The Riddler was never the other half of Batman. He was always the Joker. Because Batman is the order and Joker is the chaos. The Riddler was never that. The Riddler is too orderly to be the other half of the coin.
All right. Well, I it looks like I have to watch it because I'm really confused now. So.
Yeah. I only watched it the one time, so I'm trying to remember everything.
Yeah.
For all of those 3 hours, it's like, oh.
Okay.
God, yeah.
It's fresh in my mind, but I do miss some details. Really, really minor details, actually.
Yeah.
All right.
And suddenly Batman realizes he can't be vengeance. That's not what he's meant to do. He's betrayed his mission. And so he then descends on an electrified cable because he's trying to stop people from being electrocuted by this flying electrical wire. And he cuts off the...
No, he didn't betray his mission. He changed his mission. His mission was to be vengeance, but after the Riddler trying to be this, and he really doesn't really want to be that. He want to be a good thing for Gotham, so he changed it to
he said a symbol of hope, right?
Yeah, a symbol of hope and a symbol of justice instead of vengeance, because that's the key theme of Batman 2, which it is the spirit of vengeance and the spirit of justice. Then there is this balance too.
Right, that's part of it. Yeah.
And Catwoman is trying to get him to leave Gotham because she thinks it's doomed, and Batman.
Well,
like the end of the movie is him
Catwoman's
returning
not
back to
really that
Gotham.
wrong.
Like he's not going to stop. What?
Catwoman is not really that wrong because you can't save Gotham if you go a little deep.
Well, that's always been
No,
the
I understand
obsession
that.
with Bruce Wayne. He can't let go. He just cannot step away from Gotham for too long, and that's kind of like when we talk about Tom Bombadil. He can go stop Sauron at any time, but he doesn't care. He's in his forest. As long as his forest is okay, he doesn't give a shit. So it's like the same with Gotham. It's all messed up, so Batman has to keep working. No, I gotta go back to Gotham. Someone's doing crime.
If you go to Batman Beyond, even in Batman Beyond, Gotham is still
it's still a cesspool. There's nothing you can do. It's kind of weird. Anyway.
There's all this future technology. There is medicine. It's still a city full of crime, corruption, and oligarchs.
All right. Here's Great Scott. Thanks for the 3. I still think Begins and Dark Knight were peak Batman. I just wish they went with the Telltale Batman's appearance, specifically Selena Kyle, and the Riddler was basically Jigsaw in the Telltale series, which was creative. I did like the Telltale series. I never played it. I watched all kinds of different playthroughs because you could have all kinds of different endings. And it's all based off... the Telltale series tells a story of how the Joker started off as a crime fighter, and he was sort of trying to buddy up to Batman because Batman was the big guy. And the Joker was just this young punk who wanted to be like him. And just this ongoing story of how your choices... can make him your best friend. It's a strange, it's a strange rendition of the Joker story, but there's also the Selena element. There's the Alfred moment where Alfred pretty much says, "I'm leaving, unless you stop being Batman." So there's a lot of like weird, shocking choices you can make in the story. And the great thing about
I remember seeing that and that turned me off. But would you recommend it otherwise? Or
I think as an experience, if you're a Batman fan, for sure. Yeah, it's not for everyone because it is an adventure game, and it's a quick time. A quick time. What is it called? You see the buttons flash on the screen.
Quick time event.
Quick time event type game. So you have to like that. I don't personally like that style of game. That's why I never played it.
The only Telltale game I played was Minecraft Story Mode, and the story was bad.
I did play the.
I didn't know they did that.
The Big B game with the.
You can play it on Netflix if you want.
What was the title of the game with the big bad wolf you play as a detective? And
the Wolf Among Us.
The Wolf Among Us.
I liked that because I liked the.
That one was I like it too. I watched the first and second episode.
Yeah, the noir detective. I loved all those elements. It started off as a comic book, obviously, and it got popular, so it makes sense to go into an adventure game and give you choices because there's so many great characters in that story. But with Batman, it is a weird take on the Batman, but it's slow enough for you to appreciate the reasons why the choices you make sense, even though I disagree with a lot of it. But that's the beauty of those games. There's all these endings, and you can do all kinds of things. So it's good stuff.
If you want to know what is the comic for The Wolf Among Us, is Fables, and Big B is not actually the main character. It's actually a lot of characters.
Right. Yeah. No. It was based off the comic, so it's. But I'm glad that people are reading the comic as a result of the popularity of the game because it's a great game. So. Anyway.
Yeah, I really liked Big B as a character.
You actually enjoyed playing the game itself?
Yes, I'm not a fan of the QuickTime events, but that's because I played through God of War, and God of War 2 and 3 are just, oh my god, the QuickTime events, the ending just...
They're best games of the old trilogy. God
the
of
game
War
is fun,
2
the
and
endings
3.
are painful. playthrough. Anyway, let's keep going. Here's Great Scott. Thanks again. Wolf Among Us was peak Telltale, and I hope season 2 is good, but I digress.
I hope so too.
Yeah. All right. Almost 10 minutes in. We're almost done.
All right,
Cable,
cool.
he's holding on to it. He falls down into the water. A rebaptism. He gets up, and then he proceeds to lead a bunch of people who are not really trapped, but kind of trapped, I suppose. And he leads them to, I guess, a safer place by carrying a torch. And then he goes up to the top of Madison Square Garden, and he is helping people be airlifted and medevaced out. And this is how he has learned fulfillment. So what is this movie about? This movie is about how fighting criminality does not actually help innocent people. He says this at the very beginning. He says, I'm not sure I'm doing any good. I'm not sure I'm doing any good. By fighting the criminals, crime is still up. It turns out that Batman has to stop being Batman. Batman has been missing it the whole time. What Batman really has to be is Superman. Batman needs to go into areas like Madison Square Garden.
No. The idea is that Batman needs to be justice, not just revenge. Because that's if he is the face of justice of Gotham, he might think that things will get better, but that doesn't mean it will.
But do you think the movie conveys that enough?
Yeah, I do think in the end he does change his mission. Of instead of being revenge, he's going to be justice.
I think that's a fair assessment. When you're talking about what a movie is about, it's the majority of the scenes and the activities of those scenes that people are doing is what is happening in the story. So the 51% of the story is about a bunch of people trying to beat up Batman, and Batman beats them up. You have an action style movie. So in this case, the idea is Batman is contemplating whether or not his actions of beating people up is good, is actually effective. And from the get-go, it sounds like they're doing a good job of setting that up, saying, is this worth it? Is this doing any change? And it seems like no, and that's the revelation, that's the climax of the film, from what I'm hearing, of what is happening in the movie. So that seems good. That seems okay. I don't know what that means, but that's based on the context of the climax.
Madison Square Garden and not fight the criminals. He needs to go and lead people with a torch to a slightly safer area. He needs to help medevac people on the top of he needs to build Habitat for Humanity. He needs to join Jimmy Carter and build houses for homeless people. That's what Batman needs to be doing. This really is a sort of attack on the idea that fighting crime helps innocent people. It's an almost defund the police attitude toward what.
Wait, what? What?
No.
What?
Whoa, okay, hold on. Whoa,
I think
I'm
you got
lost now.
something wrong there, Ben.
I think he got his wires crossed with his political shtick.
I said that he does misunderstand the movie.
Wow. What a take.
I mean, I think there's a difference between that, Ben.
Bruce Wayne, he does actually make. He does try.
They fund the police attitude.
Who has that again, according to Ben?
Well, you know what? In Gotham, the police are so corrupt, he's probably not wrong. It might be a good idea to start...
Yeah, but it's not a defund issue. That's just that the funds go to nowhere.
Yeah.
And if you want, Gotham is a product of... a corrupt police is similar to a defunded police in effect on crime.
Yeah,
you could say.
For crime,
and
basically.
Batman fills that gap. Batman only can appear because of that gap. And it is the same kind of or similar kind of vigilantism that will emerge if there is no police force. And then it will just be warlordery again.
Yeah, basically, Falcone basically controls the city.
And the cops too, right? I mean, I think there was even a scene where there was a corrupt cop, right? There was multiple corrupt cops in that nightclub that he owns, right?
Yeah, the ice lounge.
Yeah, the Iceberg Lounge, right.
Which is the club that Penguin runs in the comics. I find that really cool.
Alrighty. Here's Dinner Plate Captain America. All right. Ben is so earth-shatteringly, frustratingly wrong. The idea of Batman is in this movie is that Batman can't just beat up criminals alone. He needs to actually put an emphasis on saving people too. It's why I wish they had a scene where Bruce becomes like Thomas. Interesting.
Yeah, that's the idea of Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is the guy who actually tries to help the city, even though it's basically impossible because Gotham is cursed. But he tries to help the needy on his own. He doesn't need to do with the mayor of the city.
All right.
So let's get
And it's
to
an
why
attack
he wants to
on
fund the
the
police.
basic idea that individuals are capable of doing justice by finding bad guys and fighting them. Instead, apparently, individuals are only capable of doing nice things by helping little old ladies cross the street. It's this sort of mentality that has led to New York turning into Gotham City in the last couple of years, by the way. That's a fundamental betrayal of what Batman is. What makes Batman
No, it
different from
isn't.
the
New York City
Riddler
doesn't
and
have
than any of
Batman.
these other criminals is these criminals target innocent people and Batman targets criminals. That's the basis of the character. The entire basis.
Your problem,
No.
Ben, is that as bad as New York City is, and it's bloody bad, it's not yet bad enough for a Batman to step on the scene.
Also, that's not the core of Batman. The core of Batman is to be the justice thing, something that Gotham doesn't have.
Yes,
Yeah, he's talking-
the justice that the state has abandoned to enact.
He's talking about the Punisher, though. Like, the Punisher's the guy who goes after the criminals because the criminals need to be targeted.
Yeah,
but
the Punisher is
has
not about
mainly just has a different code.
Right.
Yeah, the Punisher is about actually doing something that he feels justice doesn't do. That is punishment. It doesn't punish the justice doesn't punish the criminals, so he is the gap for that punishment. He goes a lot. He's a lot extreme because there's some actually funny stories about, like, there's a girl that helps him to fight a criminal. When he finds out that the girl is a criminal, he kills her. He doesn't.
I remember those photos. Like, he even killed somebody because somebody was jaywalking and started blasting it.
All right.
Yeah,
It's taking it a bit
Castle.
far.
Here's
I know.
here's a really good super chat from Great Scott. Dark Knight was shot in Chicago. Turns out the people of Chicago looked back and realized they wanted to make Chicago more like Gotham to attract more film projects. Defund the police, ironically, isn't too far off the mark.
Well, Chicago is another story. Chicago will always be Chicago. That's why I don't go there.
Detroit, Chicago. Yeah, there's lots of cities you don't want to go to. Oh, boy. I don't know about New York.
What's wrong with Detroit?
Yeah, well, no.
Major cities in general suck.
Well, no, you mentioned New York for the past few years being bad. I'm like, look at Toronto, okay? So if you think New York is bad, look at Toronto. Yeah, we have
Toronto
far
is.
surpassed New York for being criminal activity. Even like 4 years ago, it was really bad. Now I have no idea because of
Including violent crime.
Oh no, that's the point. It was homicide. It was homicide with guns and knives. But as a result of COVID, that just dropped. That number just went pew. We still had car accidents and people running crazy on highways and running
That's
people
not
over.
crime.
Oh yeah, it was. There were obviously some accidents, but I'm talking about people.
Car accidents are not crime.
People actively attacking people with cars and doing a bunch of. There's still gangs. They're still just not as active because they're not as public. So
are you between New York and London now?
I have to check the stats for this or last year because they probably just came out. But back in 2020, we were way ahead of New York. So
It's probably just a bunch of moose running around killing people. That's the crime of Canada. Moose running the city.
Moose man.
Smut, be honest. The crime has gone down because you're out in the streets. Is that correct?
no, I haven't left my house in years, and it's.
What are you doing?
I am crime. I'm the crime. There we go. Okay. Anyway,
Plot twist.
I am the real criminal.
When did you have your last steak?
Today, a few hours ago.
Okay,
What-
then
what-
everything is
what
in
about
order.
cheese?
Everything's fine. Yeah, of course.
Cheese.
Cheese is a standard. Steak is optional. Yeah.
You see, Smud agrees with me that cheese is the part of life.
Yes.
Do you bake the cheese over the steak?
No.
You don't do that. Why?
No,
why
only
would
the
you do that?
Philadelphians
Wait.
do that because they're sandwich machines. They do everything with bread.
Wait, you can bake steak?
There are people that actually do that?
Of course. You've never heard of a Philly cheesesteak?
No.
Really? Okay, well, if you ever go to Philadelphia, they are known for their sandwiches. It doesn't matter if it's steak or whatever. They do excellent sandwiches.
Okay. Are there people who put steak and cheese in a blender?
That's called the Quebecois.
There's a name for that?
Well, the whole province of Quebec do stuff with cheese curds and potatoes and steaks and all kinds of chicken. You name it. They just mix it up.
They put steaks in a blender.
Oh yeah. Minced
You know,
meats.
something that I really hate about my street, my neighborhood,
Maybe
that's
World War III
always
is not
someone
such a
throwing
bad
a party.
Yeah, no, there's all kinds of recipes for minced meat in French cuisine, raw, combined with a gelatin. There's all kinds. So you really have to.
But you only use the lesser meat for minced meat. It's supposed to be trash. Minced meat is not supposed to be the good meat.
No. You take the Canadian AAA. It's pretty good. Top sirloin, or the.
You people
strip
never
loin.
lived through actual poverty.
We have lots of dairy cows, I guess, and veal. So the Italians are very happy. Yeah.
The black Italians, right?
The black Jewish Italians in Quebec. Oh boy! All right. Anyway, back to me not fighting crime.
Of the character is the cops are bad at targeting criminals because they're corrupt. Batman is good at targeting criminals because he's smart and because he's rich and because he's incorruptible. That's the entire basis of Batman. And they take all that and they flip it on its head because they don't like Batman. And this is why I have real problems with the movie.
Nope.
I kind of hate the movie. Like, the more I think about it, the more I get angry at it. Because they take the fundamental idea of what Batman is supposed to be, the protector of the innocent who targets the criminal, and they say that if he targets the criminal, this makes him no different than criminals. Because Paul Dano, who's the Riddler, is also targeting criminals. All the way up until the very end, when they have to just sort of add on this attack on Madison Square Garden and New York Broad Writ for no reason.
That's the whole concept of Batman.
There's multiple stories where that happens. Who's that?
That's the whole line of I'm not a hero Gotham needs. I'm the hero it deserves, or something like that.
Right. Especially
I'm not the hero
about
Gotham wants.
Yeah, and being a vigilante is basically being a criminal. Yes, that's why the police. That is one reason why the police doesn't like him. It also makes the police look bad, worse than it actually is. It shows how bad the police is because some vigilante can do their job better.
Well, and
so
also
this is the whole thing. Batman is not an official state-sanctioned enactor of justice. That is what makes him a criminal.
Yeah, that's why he's hated by everyone.
I was going to ask, wasn't there stories where there's even under the Red Hood or characters like Anarchy, they also target criminals as well.
Yeah, but the thing is, yes, and he is a good guy breaking the law in order to enact the law and make the world better.
Yeah, he
is a martyr.
He breaks smaller laws for the greater good. So he'll beat up people, he'll commit assault, he'll commit battery, he'll breaking and enter, he'll steal things to prevent a greater tragedy down the road.
Yeah, Ego Dreamer corrects me that Vigilante is borderline criminal. Sorry, I am not versed on the nuances in that regard. And various countries see that differently.
Yeah,
I do think some cities in the United States actually place vigilantes as a crime.
It depends. Yeah, because some are actually narcs. Some are undercover people who do these jobs specifically because they're doing a sting operation. There's U.S. Marshals who go around and pretty much enact the law in a very hardcore way. There's all kinds of jurisdictions in the states depending what state you're in. So it's kind of flexible.
state and the cities. Sometimes the cities have different laws from one another.
Yeah, I know. It's tough. Crime is tough in the States, and how it's gauged, what justice means.
But I was just gonna ask, like, I wonder if Ben Shapiro has even seen stories like that where, you know,
I mean,
Batman is.
he does sound who he likes Batman because he mentioned the long Halloween, and he mentioned other stories.
Exactly.
I know,
don't know
but
how
like,
he,
but he's like the Riddler
I don't know how
targets
he
criminals, and so that makes him a good guy. But then Batman's a bad guy because he's not doing it the way Riddler should be doing. I'm just like, what about the other stories where you have those characters like Red Hood, Anarchy?
Like the movie never treated the Riddler as the good guy.
No, he's crazy.
Like there's a reason why Batman wants to stop the Riddler, because even if you are killing criminals, you're not doing justice.
All right. Anyway.
Right, yeah.
2 minutes left, or 3 minutes left, rather.
No motivation for blowing up a bunch of trucks and flooding downtown. Like, none. He doesn't explain why he does it. He doesn't explain what the purpose of it is. All the way along, he's been saying, I'm exposing the true face of Gotham. Okay, that's a rationale. But what does that have to do with blowing up the city? They add that on just so that they can create a false distinction between Batman and the Riddler so that Batman can change his mission. So now Batman's mission is not beating up bad guys and stopping bad guys. Now Batman's mission is to be a firefighter. He's no longer a detective or a police officer. He's a firefighter. That's a betrayal, and it's a real problem. And that's my biggest issue.
No, it's not a betrayal. He saved the people from other things too in the comics.
Well, yeah,
like bombs.
No, he's not talking about the comics. He's talking about the movie specifically, and I'm sorry that I didn't watch it, so I can't say much here.
Even that, he's still wrong, because Batman, in the end of the day, is a hero. He needs to save people. He needs to be sometimes the firefighter.
Right, yeah, and I'm just like, there was kids that were in danger, so like, I don't know what's wrong with that. But the whole plan, like, is it bad that Riddler doesn't explain his plan?
No, he actually does explain in the video.
I know, yeah, that video. But so, like, what's the plan? He blows up the city or whatever. The water starts coming in, and then people refugee in that Madison Square Garden or whatever, so that the Riddler snipers can take them out, right?
Yeah, basically trying to get rid of the purge, the elite, and try to get rid of the corruption.
Right. So I'm like, how is it not explained? I don't know.
All right. Here is Porcelainus the Fourth one more time. The film doesn't say that fighting criminals is bad. It's that fighting criminals alone is bad. Did I already read this?
Yeah,
I thought I did.
We need more whiskey.
What the hell? Is this a repeat? What the?
We need more water.
Doesn't matter how redundant it is, Smud. You gotta explain it.
Oh yeah.
Déjà vu.
Maybe. Maybe my my streaming program just froze on me.
Is it corrupt?
No, this is a new one. This is a new chat as far as it's telling me. No, it says the film doesn't say that fighting criminals is bad. It's that fighting criminals alone is bad. Batman also needs to work on letting the people of Gotham know that he can protect them, and Bruce needs a boot in the ass to help Gotham as well.
Yep.
Okay.
And they play Nirvana, Something's in the Way.
Also, Bearserker in the chat said something really true. The Riddler doesn't see Gotham as something that he can save. Something that Gotham is beyond salvation.
Yeah.
Which is not wrong.
Well, that was the same premise for Ra's al Ghul in Batman Begins.
Even Catwoman see that.
Yeah, it became a city of suffering and injustice or something.
Got to purge it. Anyway.
Yeah.
Issue with the film. It just feels like such a sellout. It feels like such a sellout of what Batman is supposed to be. Again, it's got a little bit of woke politics, but that's really not the problem. The problem is the broader woke orientation of the film. If the Nolan Batman was about the idea that you help innocent people by fighting criminality and provide an inspiration to people to fight criminality, If that's the idea of Batman, which it is, that's completely thrown on its head here. Matt Reeves, who's credited as both a director and a writer on the film, he does not like Batman, and I can't get over this. How do you give $150 million to a dude to make a movie about Batman when he clearly does not like Batman? When he thinks that Batman is bad, and that Batman has to be shown the error of his ways and learn to be a nicer human being. By the way, at the very end of the movie, Catwoman, who at no point has actually demonstrated any sort of moral bona fides. Like, I'm not sure she does a moral thing in the entire movie. At the very end.
Well, I mean, she does save Batman from getting shotgunned.
Yeah.
That is a weird setup for a cemetery.
Yeah, this tight, small road.
This is an actual setting, by the way. I don't know where.
Is this a real place?
It's like a tourist graveyard.
I hope it's not.
So, yeah.
I hope this wasn't filmed in Toronto. There's all these dumb movies that is like, oh, this was done in Toronto. It's like, oh God, please no.
Well,
Also,
I don't know.
You're allowed motorized vehicles on a graveyard?
in some, yeah. Here, some motorizers entering the
Not when
graveyard.
it's a
God,
freaking
I
sidewalk.
would never want to be buried. I have no respect for the dead. How are they supposed to sleep when you go above their grave?
Well, you need to transport the body to the grave.
Yeah, but not on a sidewalk.
You can carry that.
Look how tight this is. Like,
Well,
whose road is this?
I don't think it's a public road, is it?
No, it's not.
It has asphalt on it. That's why. And then
Well, maybe it's for the guy who cleans it. I don't
Yeah,
know.
right. Sweeping.
I don't know. He comes by. He's like, "All right, time to pick up the leaves or whatever."
Yeah, this little
have some humility.
road through the forest.
The big graveyard in my hometown it's really, really big, and there is no asphalt there anywhere. Even on the big what do you call that? Not promenade, but the big broad road that basically cuts the thing in half. There's nowhere. It's just dirt roads. Dirt roads, hedges, and then trees and flowers and all that stuff.
Every cemetery is
But no asphalt. No
some
asphalt.
of them have
There's-
gravel.
there's-
some have
driving there with a
dirt,
car.
Some of them are
Yeah,
stone.
some cemeteries are weird. I mean, like there's too many dead people. What are you supposed to do?
Anyway,
I mean,
yeah, this
you gotta put them somewhere.
This is a
don't
cutaway.
know.
This is one of those shots you're like, that's weird. Well, I don't really care. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I
Just,
I think-
the alignment of the gravestones there on the left in front, where it just does this 90-degree angles. Just who places it that way?
I don't know.
Like,
Maybe
where-
the whole
where
family drifted wrong and they just
Don't
died
worry.
there.
It's not a big
Yeah,
deal.
but the one in the corner, like where's the dead? Is it just an urn, a cemetery for urns? Because where do the people fit in?
The landscape design person was like, yeah, just throw them. Just make a path and just throw them next to the side of the road and we'll bury them for you.
This is rather how I build walls in a strategy game, not gravestones.
Oh.
Anyways, I wanted to ask, do you think Matt Reeves hates the Batman?
I don't think so.
I don't know much about the guy, honestly. So
I really don't think so. I could say he's influenced by politics for sure if he's putting all these lines in his film, but other than that, no. I doubt it.
But do you really think that? I mean, it feels like Warner
But the
Brothers
politics
had...
the politics would then influence you to ruin the actual thing and twist it into something that it shouldn't be.
If Ben is not complaining about the politics, I think we're okay. He's pretty sensitive to these things.
But he's saying it's like it's woke centered.
He seems to be
dialogue.
he seems to be less sensitive about that nowadays than I, and I'm the bloody tranny.
Well. Again, he's
We need to talk.
He's trying to be a media critic. It's not his forte. We all know that. It's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I wish he was more what is? I'm trying to understand why he said that. You know,
Don't
like,
worry about going to Ben Shapiro for
where did it...
for movie criticism. It doesn't really help that much. Maybe from 5 years ago, if he talked about the woke crowd, for sure. Nowadays, everyone just laughs at them.
Oh, you wish.
Well, I do.
Away with me. And we'll go rob some hedge fund CEOs. And he doesn't say back to her, that's bad to rob hedge fund CEOs. Instead, he thinks about it for a moment. She's like, no, you belong in Gotham. The generalized cheap left-wing sensibility is very silly with regard to Catwoman. If I have not made clear at this point, the movie's also 8 hours long. It's like a Wagnerian ring cycle, this film. It just goes on and on and on. Every shot is composed in order to
I know he's trying to
walk
say
across rooms.
Feels like
Christopher Nolan would snap that cut right to the action. If you watch Dark Knight, there is no wasted motion in that film, and it's 2.5 hours long. This is 3 hours.
But it's different.
It's not
movies.
an actual
it's
movie.
Not,
it's a noir movie.
It's different though. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I get what he means. Maybe it's unnecessary to see Batman walk down a hallway and then into the room, and then you film the room, get a grasp of like the scenery of the crime scene or whatever, and then back to Batman as he stares into the dead body. You know, I get that can be a little too much, you know. But I don't know. That's why I say maybe 3 hours is a bit too long for this movie.
Three
Yeah,
hours
it's
is too long for
it's a
most
different-
movies. Yeah.
It's a different movie
Maybe.
than
Maybe
what
there is
Christopher
some
Nolan's going for, you know, because he's trying to go for, you know, action.
Okay.
This is 3 hours
Right?
long.
I
and it
mean,
feels
I
like
don't
four.
know.
I never check my watch during movies, particularly not a Batman movie. And I check my watch at least twice during this film. It's better than Marvel because everything's better than Marvel because Marvel doesn't take characters seriously and Marvel feels like cotton candy. This doesn't feel like cotton candy. It just feels like a fundamental betrayal of the character, which is just, it's lazy writing. And more than that, it's not nice to the audience. The audience wants to see Batman be Batman and be good at being Batman and know why he's being Batman. They don't want to see Batman learn the lesson that being Batman is bad. That defeats the purpose of going to a Batman film. Alrighty, so that is my review of The Batman.
All right. Good. Good to know. Interesting take. I kind of still want to see it, but like, the rest of me is like, I got other things to do. I got family to visit. You know, there's other more important stuff.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
Maybe next
Don't
week.
rush yourself.
Maybe next month. Maybe next year. I don't know. I'll get around to
Maybe 10 years from now.
it. We have like 3 other versions of the Batman. Yeah, it's great. That'd be great.
Yeah, I feel like I have to watch it over again just to remember what the hell happened.
Okay. For some reason, we got a lot of stream memes.
Oh, we do. Okay.
All the same. I saw the Batman with my wife, who is a doctor. Thank you, Hawk. Yes, thank you. Fantastic.
Wait, Ben Shapiro's wife is a doctor?
And she's hot.
I thought she was a nurse.
Is she?
She's a hot doctor. There you go.
She's hot?
Oy vey, the
Really?
Batman is nearly 2 Holocausts long.
What is the
Oh boy.
go Patrick Bateman's?
Here's Southpaw's recent bat cringe that I've debunked on his take on the episode that I've figured out blind as a bat. Oh boy.
What a sentence.
Batman TAS. The animated series sucks? Are you crazy?
He says
Yeah,
that,
he
yes,
said- he
because
said
he's
that.
he's an attention-whoring nitpicker.
How the hell does the I want to know because I don't really watch him, but I'm assuming he has some points.
Oh, because he threw hot soup at Mr.
He's
Freeze,
exaggerating.
He threw hot
You can
soup.
walk. You can walk.
He just
Yeah.
wants he just wants to be he just wants to be contrarian in order to get outrage and clicks.
Oh wow.
You admit it?
Yeah,
I think he even
Batman,
admitted to that.
Batman had the cure to blindness and didn't share it with the world. What the hell is he talking about? The virtual goggles that helped Batman see while he was temporarily blind was only but a prototype that soon ran out of power. He doesn't need to be completely altruistic. Sure. Cool.
okay, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a really contextual scenario of whatever the hell is going on here.
I can't remember that episode.
Yeah, but guys, the animated series of Batman's fantastic. I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
He says stupid shit like that. I don't know. I can't keep up with
His
it.
first complaint was that Mr. Freeze was beaten by hot soup, which is not entirely true. But that is dumb. But
Yeah.
it's
All right, here's Hawk again. Thank you. We don't need to see Batman's parents get killed again. Normies, let the bodies pile high in their thousands. Well,
I actually agree.
I for one like seeing that scene because that is what Batman is. It's like taking away Jonathan Kent from Superman. You need to have Jonathan Kent somewhere in the scene, somewhere in the story, or else it's not Superman's story. Same with Batman.
Well,
But they do talk about.
I want to ask: do you need to see Jonathan Kent's death again?
Jonathan Kent's death is not relevant to Superman.
Well, it actually is, because
No.
without Jonathan's dying, he can't know that he can't save everyone.
No, that's not. You don't need to have that. Like, there's stories in Superman where Jonathan Kent's still alive. His death is not predicated on the fact that Superman can't be everywhere at once. You can do that with all kinds of scenarios.
But we don't need him
That's
in
not
every
a
movie, just
Tony-
like we don't
Tony
need
one.
Uncle Ben in every Spider-Man movie.
You need to have the setup. If you're doing a new story, I don't care if it's the same Batman over and over again. You still have to set it up properly. Unless it's not
Just to
ordered.
buzz.
Unless
But
it's like
just to be fair,
10 years from now.
just to be fair, they talk about the parents.
That's good. That's fine. But
But is that the same as explain it?
any story, I don't care what it is. If it's the first version or the next iteration, or sorry, the remaking, you have to set it up properly. I don't care if this was called Mouse Man. Why is he dressing up as a mouse? Why does he have mouse orangs or whatever? Like, you have to show that. You can't just let it go. The Batman is a good film. You know what wasn't a good film? 9/11. Oh. Thanks, Hawk.
Thanks.
Here's Rigby. Interesting. So anyways. Smud,
That was me.
he's referring to me during the security rant because that was like 2 minutes of him selling a product. Come on, Ben. What are you doing? What a joke. When you schmeckle your doctor wife's balabusta.
I agree.
I don't know what's going on with Ben here, but I'm sure Hawk
He's talking. He's talking Hebrew, something like
He's
that.
talking
Oh,
Hebrew.
God.
Another
That
one of
reminds
those,
me. Did he even have his Jew cap on?
No.
Yes.
Another one of those goofy cutaways. Dead end. Ha ha ha.
It's got to be the most poorly placed sign you could ever place there.
Oh boy.
I think you'd figure it out. It's a cul-de-sac, but you know. Eric, I'm not going to play that because that's a video, and
The music is copyrighted. Don't.
Just watch it after this.
I'll watch it later. Yeah. All
Whoa!
right.
What happened, Eric? What happened
Sounds like
to
you
your
ate your
mic?
microphone.
He swallowed his mic.
Wait, what? Oh no, I'm saying watch it after the stream. Can you hear me?
Yeah. we
Yeah.
got it.
Now we can hear you.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I am still on the fence of watching the Batman. I'll eventually get around to it, but I do know I still need a drink tonight because it's late. This is when I drink.
It wasn't a bad video, huh?
No, it was fine. It just his take was a bit sketchy, and it kind of makes me want to see because Ben is usually pretty
Bad.
well. Yeah, all his takes are bad because every time he says something's bad, it could be good. Why he felt so strongly about this, I don't know. Like he did some good takes on TLJ, but it wasn't nowhere near as good
That's
as
not difficult.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, that's not
nowhere
hard.
near as good as what I would have done or other people
Well, he
like
did.
me.
Did say
Didn't he like Rise of Skywalker?
No, he didn't.
Oof.
I just remember him talking about Guardians 2, and he didn't really like that a lot. Thought it was just
Really?
CGI garbage. Yeah.
Those are fun movies. I wouldn't take them seriously, but fine. It's fair.
Yeah, no, I think it's fair, but
Yeah. Well, anyway, I like this. We could do other ones like this. This is fine. I don't mind doing reviews by people who don't actually know too much about storytelling or film or music or whatever. Like, you didn't like the music
I'm
of
not
this film?
completely insane.
Yeah, he's not. Ben is not nuts. He's just not. This is not his wheelbarrow. He's not skilled in doing this sort of thing. But that's fair.
have you heard the music? Yeah, because he didn't like it.
I heard people loved it, and it was super popular.
Yeah, the music is actually pretty good.
Yeah, but Ben is a classical guy, so I don't know. Maybe he had something specific he was nitpicky about.
Yeah.
He didn't go into too much detail about the music. He just didn't like it. It's like, all right, fair, whatever.
Well, he said it was Doodah or Dida. I don't know what he's
It was the opposite of the Nolan music, which is like, okay, that's weird.
Nolan's music is just what noise.
Dun 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 dun. Yeah, it's like okay, whatever. Chords. But yeah, guys, keep the suggestions coming. It is the weekend. It's we're having a lot of ideas planned for our 500th episodes coming up in a few months. Whenever.
Months?
Depending. I don't know. Another month or two, at least. So, yeah, keep the suggestions coming. Keep the voting going. And we'll talk to you